Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with DVD. How you doing? And under of Mother Wendy. And this is going to be my Abbott Elementary episode recap of The Librarian. That's the name of the episode, season 3, episode 7. Guess who is the librarian? None other than Susan Carmichael herself. A.K.A. CREE'S, a.k.a. Freddie from It's a Different World Than Where You Come From. Yes, it is now. Now here's a chance to make it if we focus on our goal. If you dish it, we can't take it. Just remember that you've been told it's a different world than where you come from. I think that's it. I don't know. Like I said, I never said I was a singer, darling. I'm a commentator. However, seeing CREE made your girl excited because I am a 90s. We Gen Xers, we got the best of all worlds, didn't we? We were raised by boomer parents who introduced us to 60s and 70s music. And then as the 70s was going out, we were getting into 80s electronic type music. Baby, we had it going on. Do y'all remember like Shattering of the Glass when we had just songs? And the songs didn't have, words, but we loved them anyway. You remember like Auto Bum, 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 bum. I hate it for y'all. That y'all didn't get what we got, but we got it all live and in person. The best TV. Oh, look. Okay. This is about Abbott Elementary. However, seeing CREE took me there, okay? Because I went to the Jackson State University in the 90s. Yes, ma'am. And this show that she was on contributed to my attendance of an HBCU. Shout out to Different World. And I am no follower of Bill of the Cosby anymore, but we have to show gratitude to him for introducing those good old Southern country girls that were only introduced to PWIs in Mississippi State University, such as Mississippi State University and Ole Miss, and that was all we saw at our schools. And then all of a sudden, we get this back-to-back show filled with the Black history and them showing HBCUs as, as the fabric of our society. And we're like, I knew about Jackson State because my aunt had gone, but because my parents were not college educated, they did not place a whole lot of emphasis on going to Jackson State or HBCU. It was just like, you can go to college if you want to go. But it was those two shows that placed so much emphasis on going to HBCUs. Now, from my understanding, Hillman is based on a school called Stillman. And I'm not sure if that's true or not. It was always rumored to us back in the day, what was the association? Not Spelman, but Stillman. But either way, even if that's just a rumor and that's not true, our schools were shown on these two shows, okay? Because it would be times when you just look at the shows and you would see, Cliff, he wear different sweatshirts, and I'm not talking about the Huxtable sweaters. I'm talking about the sweatshirt. Now, of course, he would show Hillman, which we think, like I said, I believe my understanding is that it was not a real school based on a school that's called Stillman. But the point is, because now that I look back at it, shout out to me in the comments and let me know. Oh, I don't get enough views on this show to let me know that. But if you do see this, let me know if him and ever said what city they were in on Different World. I don't recall them ever saying it, but I hadn't seen it in years. I don't watch the rerun. But my point is to say that him wearing those sweatshirts and us seeing ourselves on TV shown in that way, it was something very, very special. And I'm 10, 11, 12 years old. I had no idea what kind of person that Bill Cosby was. But baby, when I found out, and I'm pro-woman, I can't hold up for what he did in that area. But I can't show gratitude for him and Felicia Rashad and, like I said, CREE'S Summer, who's a special guest star on this show, for showing us in that light, especially on A Different World. Okay, well, let's get into the episode. So the episode opens up, and they are being introduced to the wonderful CREE'S Summer. She's going to be the librarian. So Shamenta comes in, and there, of course, that's the show always starts out with them in the break room. And so they're in the break room, and Ava, dad's throwing a jab. Ooh, that's the walk of a woman that's, pregnant or something. Found out she wasn't pregnant. And so Shamenta said, no, Ava, I found somebody to be my roommate. I guess who that roommate ended up being? Jacob. Because Jacob was looking for a roommate. And she was looking for a roommate to somebody to like kind of sublet at her house. And here's going to be the plot of the show besides the librarian.
I'm pregnant. Now I'm relieved.
When they discover that it's each other, they are cracking up. Of course, more so Ava than anybody. But again, I always have a story. That reminds me of my teaching days when we used to sit around in the teacher's lounge, and you're in that teacher's lounge, and it's a certain camaraderie. I never knew that when I was in school. All I know is the teachers always came back different when they came out of there. So when I experienced it, it's a place of solitude and peace, and you just get to, talk about your day, and, everybody, even though they may not be interested at all, acts like they are. So we're in the library, and they're going to introduce the new librarian, and like I said, it's CREE'S Summer, and baby, when I tell you everything is beautiful on her still, except for that hat. Cree has always been a weird dresser, but she has that earthy. She has that earthy appeal, and she's walking around in a ranger's hat with a feather on it. You know what's super weird about this episode? Is this true? Because I've never been to a school that didn't have a librarian. Is this something that's in the city? If y'all ever see this video, drop down in the comments and let's talk about that. Her name is Rosalind Inez, and, everybody is so excited, even Barbara. So, of course, Ava is off topic. Didn't mention anything about the librarian, okay? Or the librarian. She talks about how Jacob is moving in with Melissa. And, baby, when I tell you they start having chemistry and the sparks start to fly. Now, I'm not talking about actual, put an S in front of it. I'm talking about a real, true chemistry where they end up liking the same thing. And do you know, really, technically, how hard it is to be a content creator, African American, and really diverse in my thinking, but at the same time, very, very staunch in my political convictions, especially as far as religion and being Black in America goes, it's really, 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 really something because I'm so different. I'm so different than most of my friends, and then I'm so different from most of my outside acquaintances. So I have to be different things for different people in those situations. And this right here shows to me how Jacob and Sheminti are so different and on different spectrum, but at the same time, they have so many things in common. For example, them loving the same food. See, they didn't even know they had all that in common. And now she doesn't even realize that even though she was looking for a stranger, how important it was to have somebody in her home that she actually already knew, and then vice versa. And they find out they have like food in common, like I said, TV shows. They like to watch the Real Housewives of Jersey. Baby, hold up. Right there, I will be recapping Jersey. I cannot wait to recap Jersey. And I'll tell you why. Simply because I started with them. And like I said, that's my diverse thinking because a lot of Black content creators don't do the Caucasian shows. And so here's where things are going to get sticky for the library. None other than Miss Howard. Miss Howard loves organization and she loves things to be just the way she wants them. But a lot of Barbara's problem is Barbara does not see things from a broader scope. She likes things to stay even keel and just the way they are. And so she's used to just popping in the library, not checking the books out. And see, this is where they're going to bump heads because she is used to doing that, but at the same time, the new librarian wants order and have things work the way she wants them to work in her library system. And checking out books is one of those things. And also, it helps for the librarian to know what class the books are in, just in case they are late and stuff like that. So, of course, checking in and checking out, is a thing that is very important because who's to say Barbara's going to bring those books back on time for other classes they may need. But Barbara is strictly concentrating on her own class, thinking about her kindergarten class. What about the other teachers? And so, like I said, she's not liking the organization because all they had to do was sign the books in and sign them out. But Ava realizes at first that she's on Barbara's side. Then she realizes how great it works because now a book that was just floating out there that didn't have to be checked in or signed in and signed out is in the system. And when it's in the system, of course, you can request that book back. And if it's late and you don't have it back in a timely manner, then, you can get fees because there's always somebody in line wanting the books. And that's exactly what I try to get my kids to understand when they check out books at the county library. Get the books back on time. Other people want to read them. That's why it's a public out library. Same thing with school libraries. Now, here we are back in the teacher's lounge, and Jacob has on a shirt that Sheminti picked out for him. And just when Ava was about to go in on him about that Versace shirt, Sheminti comes in. Looks good on him, though. And Ava is stunned. Like, what am I supposed to say now? I was just about to go in on the shirt. Then she goes in on Mr. Johnson instead, and then he starts to cry. But I'm surprised Mr. Johnson didn't come back at her because he normally does. You don't know how to spell dessert. So Janine is so excited about the library program working, and Barbara has now come to the conclusion, no ma'am, it's not working for her. She talks to the librarian. She used to her kids just coming in and out of the library when they get ready, and she say, hold up, chief. No, ma'am, Miss Barbara. Your students have to schedule a time to come into the library just like all the other classes. Now, Barbara is seething at this point, and she's ready to talk to somebody. Now, mind you, Barbara technically is the only one who has the problem with it. talking about she would hate to leave bad feedback, saying as how, things are not working the way she normally has them to work. Now, I'm not saying that. Now, mind you, last week, or the week before that, when she was shackled and couldn't dance, she was opening her mouth a little bit. But back to Barbara, the way she is, most things to just go her way. And this episode, Janine is going to have to realize that she cannot acquiesce to Barbara for every little thing that she wants. And you're about to find out. So, in the next scene, Janine promises Miss Barbara that she's going to make things work out in her favor because Miss Barbara molded her to the teacher that she is today. Big mistake. And now we're back at home with Jacob and Shminty, and they're a little fun time together. They are at the table, they're doing puzzles, and all the boring things that you wouldn't think that Shminty would like, that Jacob does. But as a matter of fact, they just have all these things in common that they had no idea that they had in common. And this is like Laverne and Shirley, only on the male-female side. I wish I could have a male roommate and then have actual expectations. I asked one of my gay best friends to be my roommate. He was like, no. Child, my gay best friend didn't want no parts of them. Period. Them women are junky, he said to me. I said, well, I am kind of junky. Gay men, he told me, are much, much neater than women. Well, I mean, you a single man with no children, and I have one. I have two. I'm sorry, but that little one might be upset that I said one. But anyway, 2 children, so I can see his point there because their junkiness get on my nerves. I said what I said. So she wants to now send him some lunch, and Jacob is afraid that people are seeing them as besties and they're throwing out the balance of what's going on at the school. So now it's getting to the point where they need to understand that they need to pretend not to be friends. Big mistake. Okay, so Janine does a win-win. Miss Barbara's children get to go into the library, specifically at a time where it's just for pre-readers. And now Barbara is basically jealous of the librarian because the librarian does things that she doesn't do in class, like make the noises, and and the children are so excited. And then they ask her, Miss Howard, why don't you make the noise? Oh, but that really just set off then. So Shminty and Jacob go into the teacher's lounge the day after, and they're gonna pretend that they're not friends, but they're texting each other. And I almost said everybody hates Chris. Gregory and Mr. Johnson noticed that they're texting each other. Well, Gregory's not really sure, but Mr. Johnson takes the phone and he's like, oh yeah, they texting each other, they sharing me. And this is not cool. So, this is how things are going to shake out. You're going to have to let them know, we want to be friends. Okay, now Manny comes to the school and Barbara is, I'm sorry, not Barbara. Janine is selling the library and the new librarian. And then she lets Manny know that Barbara is not too happy with how things are going. So Manny has so much respect for Miss Howard. We learned that when the district first came into the school, that, he pretty much is like Janine. He pretty much lets her get away with anything that she wants. So Janine tells him about Barbara's issue, and he's like, well, if Barbara don't like it, basically, then they got to go. So he's trying to get her to scrap the program. And of course, Janine doesn't want to do that because Janine is, if she's nothing else, she's what? Optimistic, which is why I named one of the episodes Optimistic. So now Janine is at a crossroads. She wants to scrap the program because of what Manny said. And, of course, she goes to her best friend, Gregory. And Gregory is like, well, what's the problem? You look sad. And she's like, well, I'm going to have to scrap the program because, Barbara is not happy with the way things are going. And he said, Barbara always gets her way. She gets to do the things that she wants to do. And see, even with this going on, Sheminti is not even on Barbara's side because Sheminti's class is doing well. Greg's class is doing well. Everybody is doing well with the library reading program, except not Barbara's kids, but Barbara. She's having an issue adjusting. So the way, like I said, with Janine and her optimism, she goes to Barbara and she talks to her and she tells her, look, I respect you so much. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be your mentee, and you're probably the best thing that's ever happened to me, but I'm going forward with the program. And, you know, in that moment, Barbara realizes that the guts that she is showing right then is the guts that she really molded her into having. So she goes ahead and becomes a great teacher, and she understands why they want to keep the program, and she tries to do the noises and stuff. It's real cute. And, you know, that's just the way it is. You know, that's a lot of the problem with a lot of older Americans, boomers, the people who I was just bragging on. They don't like change, though. And see, that was another thing. Barbara has always had issues on this show, even coming to grips with them having to bring the computers in the classroom. Remember when she didn't want to do that either. So she's adjusting, and that's the great thing about this show. It shows transition and growth, and that's very important. And in the end, Jacob and Sheminti said, look. We're friends. We're going to stay friends. And that's how it's going to be. And this episode ends. Everybody is happy, which is what I love about this show. It always ends. And not necessarily a happy ending, but everybody experiences some type of new revelation, I would say. Because you remember on the first episode when Ava thought she had graduated from Harvard. And, you know, they transformed her back into the old Ava, and then it was what? Growth. Now, with that, I'm going to close. This is my episode recap of Abbott Elementary. I love this show, regardless of the reviews. And with that, I'm going to close as I do and chunk them up. Deuces. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button so you can be notified when I upload a video.